Again, thank you. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, everyone. Again, thank you so much, everyone. And again, I just was thankful to everyone and members of the Venerable Buddhist Center in the Southern Florida, and as well as all friends of the Venerable Buddhist Center and the Dharma practitioners, everyone who really kind of activated this event and organized it. I'm so grateful and thankful. I'm happy, and we all both are very happy to be in these beautiful places. And back again with you all and deliberate discussing of the Dharma according to my capabilities. And so thank you for this opportunity. Thank you everyone. Again, thank you very much. And this morning, then I'm going to talk about generally three yanas, and those are known as the Theravada, or the foundation of Buddhism, Sutta Mahayana, and the Vajrayana Buddhism. Those are kind of like topics I thought I would talk, or that was you asked me to discuss, so I'm happy to talk about these things. So today what I'm going to do, I will talk about those three yanas. Together with that, then as I talk those three yanas, maybe about an hour and a half or about 2 hours, I will talk those, and then we have some questions and answers. We have short break, and after that, then come back again. I will continue to talk, and then as I told at the end, in the final, I will discuss a little bit about the practicing of the Dharma. And even though you already know and practice it, but I just like to again just highlight it and remind it to all of us how we do practices. And the reason I'm talking that because generally in Buddhism there is three kind of ways that you learn Buddha teachings. Those are known as the studying, contemplating, and the practicing or the meditating. So the first I'm going to talk of these three yana is in a way like kind of studying and contemplating, and then at toward the end I talk a little bit about the practice or the meditation or the practice of that. So that was sort of my kind of like frame or the schedule or what I was trying to do that. So now I will talk about the three yanas. As in a Vajrayana Buddhism, in particular the Nyingma Buddhism, what the Nyingma Buddhism is mainly highlight focus on the practicing on the Vajrayana Buddhism. That is what the Nyingma schools of Tibetan Buddhism does. So generally, I think all Tibetan Buddhism is really the highlight of the Vajrayana Buddhism. So, but particularly also Nyingma is that we call in Tibetan there's 4 Buddhist schools, principal Buddhist schools. There's many sub schools too, but those 4 schools are the Nyingma, Kagyu, and the Sacha, and the Gelo schools. So we belong of the Nyingma schools of Tibetan Buddhism. In the Nyingma schools of Tibetan Buddhism also highlight the Vajrayana Buddhism. They practice the Vajrayana Buddhism. Vajrayana Buddhism is translated into English, I think, diamond vehicles, diamond yanas, diamond like yanas. Or yana, diamond, Vajra is the diamond, and the yana is translated into English, I think, vehicles. So diamond vehicles practices. Diamond vehicle practices, even though they focus on the Vajrayana Buddhism, but they practice all the Buddhisms. There is no Vajrayana Buddhism without the Foundation Buddhism and the Sutta Mahayana Buddhism. And they're all really connected, and Vajrayana practices all Buddhisms. What that means? That means a gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, reached enlightenment, age 35. And then his lifespan, according to many different history, about 81. So over 45 years, the Buddha gave the teachings. And all those teachings are divided, if I say kind of simple way, 3 these vehicles, yana teachings. Foundation Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, and Vajrayana Buddhism. That all Buddha taught. That what is the Buddha's teaching generally? teaching of the Buddhas is teaching on the nature of the subject, nature of the object. Nothing but, that's it, nature. Exactly where things are. Buddha did not give any mysteries or kind of anything there. Nature is who share that nature, who are within the nature. Now we all, every living beings are equally within that nature. There's nothing else. It's a selected group use the nature and we don't use. No, everyone is. Nature is equal to every living beings. For example, sun and the moon and the stars and the air and the earth and the water, fire, all the space and all is shared by everyone. It's nothing really selected groups or anything. Similarly, what Buddha taught, nature is shared by everyone. We are within that. And Buddha also saw we have always a lot of difficulty troubles in the samsara. We are going through so many difficulty troubles. Even though there is good things, good times, and nice times, but yet we are completely kind of like saturated with a lot of troubles, a lot of difficulties, going one after another. Why we are going through these troubles and difficulties? Because not knowing the nature, or not recognize one's own nature and nature of everything. Then we are kind of struggling with our desire, and the way things are happening is not just coming together. We are struggling because of not really we're using wisely or applying and mingling with the natures. That is the problematics according to Buddhism. That is starting. This is the trouble when we don't use nature. Whenever we use the nature and be in the nature and part of nature with the recognitions, then we are more calm and peaceful, more open and more relaxed. That's what the gracious teacher Buddha found. So for that reason, Buddha said he's nothing but teacher. He just really showing things, what things are, how things happen. There's nothing, any mystery figures or anything. Buddha himself highly and clearly announced so many times, he is just a simple teacher, showing the way the things are, exactly the way things are, both subject and object levels. So that's what it is. Now, when we talk with that understanding, so that means all these three yanas, basic Buddhist, foundation Buddhist school, the Sutra Mahayana school, and the Vajrayana teaching, all is nothing but is nature. It's exactly nature where things are. And again, as I said, nature is shared by everyone. There is nothing in selected groups or anything. So if we say one now, when Buddha gave those three jhana teachings, how that happened, all those three different levels of the teachings. Those teachings are happened, and when he gave the teaching, when he reached the enlightenment at age 35, around the age 42, about 42, he gave principally high teachings on the foundation Buddhisms. Around the age 43 to the age 72, he gave the teachings on the mainly Sutra Mahayana teachings. Around the age 73 until age 81 or 80, he gave highlight teachings of the Vajrayana teachings, or that is just a kind of very gross level to explain. It didn't mean that he did not give any other teachings, kind of completely strictly divided that one after another. That didn't mean that. They just highlight that. So now the first teaching. What is the first teachings? First teaching is the teachings mainly on the conduct, moralities, conduct, or ethics. Again, that did not mean he did not give any other teachings. What in Buddhism, Buddha's teaching often used called three principal practices. Three principal practices, sometimes used three extraordinary training practices. And what are those? Those are known as the morality practices, concentration practices, and as well as wisdom practices. Those three are the principal heart of the entire Buddhism. Doesn't matter we are the Foundational Buddhism school or Sutra Mahayana school or the Vajrayana Buddhism, that these three are the heart, essence, frame, identity, nature of the entire teachings. So first, Buddha highlight of the morality teachings. And morality teaching is also when Buddha highlight, it didn't mean that there is no concentration, there is no wisdom practice. They didn't mean that. In the teaching, how they say, the morality of the concentration, morality of the morality practice teachings, moralities of the concentration practices, moralities of the wisdom practices. This is all connected. And these teachings are what are known as, also in the Buddhism, many of you know, of course, three Pitakas, or three Pitaka, or three basket teachings. Three basket teachings are, what are those? If you don't know. Those three basket teachings are known as Vinaya teaching, Sutra teaching, Abhidharma teachings. Vinaya is all the Sanskrit word. And what means Vinaya? Discipline teaching, teachings on the disciplines, or teachings on the calm and peaceful teachings. And then Sutra teaching, condensed teachings, more condensed teachings. What that means? More simple way to tell, concentrated, not scattered, not kind of like all scattered, all over. It's all gathered, all concentrated teachings. What is the Abhidharma? Abhidharma is a Sanskrit word again. Means Abhi means actualizing, openness. Dharma means phenomena. Abhidharma. So actualized with the all phenomena are. Actualizing. Or discovering where all the phenomena. Dharma is a generally the Sanskrit word. It goes or uses the Sanskrit language about 10 different meanings. But this time means phenomena. Seeing everything exactly again if I translate it another way, seeing exactly where all the phenomena are. That means nothing high stated and nothing lower stated. Or sometimes I used to say exaggerated and deprecated, if you know what that means. Somebody told me they don't know what that means. So then I'm stopping that statement most of the time. But I heard that before, somebody told me that's what means. Highly kind of like highly stated, that far from the way things are, and also kind of low stated very low and far from the way things are. So exaggerated and deprecated, those are mentioned. But anyway, highly stated. So where exactly things are, that is the Abhidharma teachings. So then what these three are, always in the teachings, again, those are what I said to you, a little bit more kind of like explanation there. But if you kind of a more simple way to tell, Sutra teaching is the teachings mainly on the morality, and Vinaya teaching is mainly on the morality teachings, Sutra teaching is mainly on the concentrations, and Abhidharma is mainly on the wisdoms. When I say that, again, the same technique applied as I said earlier. This morality teaching also has three The Sutra, Vinaya teaching has three meanings. Vinaya of the discipline teaching, Vinaya teachings of the concentrated teaching, and Vinaya of the wisdom teachings. And the Sutra teaching has also that three. Sutra teaching of the discipline teaching, a sutra that has concentrated teaching, sutra that has wisdom teachings. And Abhidharma has also same thing. Abhidharma teaching that has a discipline teaching, Abhidharma that has concentration teachings, Abhidharma that has wisdom teachings. So that is really the half form. That's why called three pitakas, or three baskets. Three baskets is not just a three individually baskets, also it's a metaphor. Means it has like so many kind of like contains. It's like treasure box. You open one treasure box, there is another treasure. There is another treasure. There is another treasure. It's like Christmas gift package. When you open those great parents, and the parents, they put so many things together to give the surprising to their loved ones. Same way here, Buddha presented so beautiful treasures. All these treasures of nature. This is nothing, anything but nature. It's not just a kind of like intoxicated or saturated or is unnatural. It's all really simple, natural, exactly. That is what really this Theravada teaches. Now we will talk about this again. The first yanas, foundation yanas. Foundation yanas is sometimes what named. Not sometimes in the Buddhism named Hinayana teachings. Hinayana. But I'm using terminology as foundations. Hinayana, whatever terminology we use, Hinayana, foundation, first the Buddhist schools, it is the foundation. Foundation of what? Is the foundation of the Sutra Mahayana, is the foundation of the Vajrayana Mahayana. Without the Hinayana or the foundation Buddhist school, there is the Mahayana is not completed. Vajrayana is not completed. And so therefore, it is completely, those two are completely based upon this foundation Buddhism or the Hinayana schools. Hinayana is Sanskrit word again. What that means? Small vehicles. Hin is small. Sometimes translated low. Sometimes translated as beginning. So beginning vehicle. And that means is just a foundation to starting your journey of discovery of the nature's beauty. Where nature's subject and object. That is. Many times we are interpreting kind of sometimes Hinayana is a low vehicle, something that Mahayana practitioner, Vajrayana practitioner should not apply. This is not something complete. That is mistakes. According Nyingma Buddhism or the Vajrayana Buddhism is really completely mistakes. Without the foundation Buddhism or the Hinayana Buddhism, we are completely incomplete. Now we talk about the foundation Buddhist schools. Foundation Buddhist schools, when we explain about the foundation schools, it has again conduct, concentration, and wisdom practices. Conduct generally practices is what in the teaching said. Discipline. Present our activities, ourselves is not disciplined or not gentle, not peaceful, not calm, because due to the emotions, negative emotions. Negative emotions are not natural. Natural. It is known as unnatural. Who created these negative emotions? Nothing but one's own self. Where did negative emotion start? From our own mind. Mind of the, in the teaching said, unknowing. Unknowing. What that is, unknowing? Grasping, clinging. Grasping and clinging of the one's own self. That which is often in the Buddha teaching named ego clinging. Clinging to ourself. That is myself, I and my. That clinging is, according to Buddha's teaching, is not natural. That clinging. Why is not natural? When you look, trying to find what we cling, there's really nothing to find. There's nothing to find. No matter whatever technology we use, modern time or ancient time, use all the intelligence, discrimination, awareness, wisdoms, analyzing, investigating, going thoroughly what we clinging if really existing is here. For example, such as I. I is the big notion, so important for us. There's nothing more important than the I. I. We clinging. And all those clinging to the I, then comes my. All my. Mind. And then there is, when we come to mind, there is acceptance, there is rejections. Acceptance of the something that you kind of desired, like that you say, oh, is mine, is something important for me, something. And then also rejection, something that comes, oh, I don't like that. It's not mine. I don't like, I had. I mean, that kind of rejection and acceptance. That is challenging. Challenges. So now when we talking about this important of eyes, like such this important and the kind of so precious and important, and where is that I? And then there's nothing really existing. But to this I, then all the emotions are erupted. All kinds of conflict, and such as important things to accept, and a rejection or that like to avoid the things, and then our activities become wild, undisciplined. Activity become undisciplined. Those are the, in the Buddha teaching, named negative activities. And particularly in this Foundational Buddhist school, they trying to avoid negative activities of those undisciplined activities. Immediately taking care of them. Immediately deal with them. And what are those immediately? Or those negative activities of the physical and verbal negative activities. Those are known as the 7 things to avoid negative activity. Mainly is connected with the body, physical and verbal. That's what then Buddha gives the morality. It's called the morality practices. And for example, for being as the practitioners in Buddhism, those are known as what? Lay practitioners. Lay practitioners. And there is ordained practitioners. Lay practitioners, also there is generally this in the Buddha's teaching called vows. The V-O-W-O, vows. This vows has 2 vows, like short-time vows and long-term vows. Short-term vow is 24 hours. You're taking vows for 24 hours. Long-term vow is then entire our lives, as long as we live, we take vows. Those are known as the like short-term vow and long-term vows. Either vows you trying to reduce or the kind of stop these 7 negative activities. That 3 ayah by body and 4 by speech. 7 things to Egypt. And first I talk a little bit again, talk about this, what's called this name? The short-term vows. These vows are same as, I think many of you know, the Nyingma practices. Nyingma practice, the short-time vows. For example, 24 hours, or this time, Geloma Panmo, the great master or great female enlightened beings, known as Geloma Panmo, her tradition is like 2 days. So that means 24 hours 2 times. 2 times that you keep that vows. So even though it's 2 days, 24 hours 2 times is short-term vows. Once you keep that vows, those are known as eight principal vows that you keep. Those 8 principles are 3 by the body and 4 by the verbal speech. And that is known as then 3 by the body is not taking lives and not taking the belongings of others and sexual misconducts. Those are the 3 by the bodies. 4 by the speeches are known as four by the speeches are known as then not using the deceiving languages, or simply for lying, slander, and harsh speech, and then gossips. Those 4 are speeches. All together is 7. Those are 7 basic vows. Above that, and this what's called, above that, one vow is not intoxicating. So avoiding intoxicating things. And then in the Geloma Panmo's teaching, then there is editing 2 more. And those are known as then not singing, not dancing, not playing the music, and not make up and using the perfumes. And also not eating the afternoon foods. And in the Geloma Parmo teaching, again, you don't eat for 2 days. 2 days. So that those are all vows known as short-time vows. Anybody who take that forever, and that is known as then the celibacy upasakas or lay practitioners, and that if you take that for forever, that is. Then what called? Then so that is a short-time vow, and if you take that forever, is called celibacy upasakas. Still is a lay practitioner, but celibacy upasakas. If you take and then for permanent vows, there is known as then upasakas and novice monks and nuns and fully ordained monks and nuns. Those are 3 groups. And the upasaka is a lay practitioners. They take 5 precepts, 5 vows, and those are 4 of these is and not what's called that 3 by the body, 3 by not killing, not stealing, and sexual misconduct. That 3, and 4 is, fourth is not lying. Lying. Did I say mixed up?
Need one more.
One more, right? So that is 4. Above that is not intoxicated. Those are known as 5%. 5% waters. And so that then it goes on. That is like male and female. So Upasaka, lay practitioner, male and female, who take that vows. So those are the basic principle vows or the moralities and disciplinaries of the lay practitioners. Once they take these vows, generally the Theravada practitioner or the Foundational Buddhist schools, what they do? What is this? And naturally, they are what in the teachings. They should always more contentment, more content, and less desire, less craving, less craving. Doba chuma and chokiba in the way that word used. Doba chuma means less craving, more content, and less craving. What are the craving? Generally, we craving the 6 or 5 pleasure objects. 6 or 5 pleasure objects. Those are the pleasure object of eye, pleasure object of the ears, pleasure object of the nose, pleasure object of the tones, pleasure object of the bodies. Those are 5 sensory pleasure objects of the senses. Above that, 5 pleasure object of the feelings or the mental status. So those are known as all the 6 pleasure objects. So less craving on that. Generally in the teaching said, when you are less craving, then what it comes? More content that comes. Thanks to what you have. Enjoy and appreciate. More grateful of this, what you have. So that when that happens, naturally it comes more calm and more peaceful. Less kind of distractions. And you are more centered. What that will developing, according in the teaching said, it will bring more mindfulness, more calm and peaceful. Your mind is become more really thoughtful, more respect and appreciating. Generally, contentment and less craving is very beautiful mindfulness states. It is mindfulness. It's really that more you can more enjoy what you have and more grateful. And then what in the teaching said in Theravada or the Foundational Buddhist schools, then they do practice. Now, when you have the good discipline, then they begin to practice. Practice is concentration. Concentration is then meditating. Meditating such as first it begins mindfulness meditations. Those are known as then joy and appreciations. Respect and joy and appreciation to one's own situation and circumstances. Really more appreciating, more grateful, more thankful. That is the beginning of the mindfulness. With these thoughts, and then also seeing things, all these situations and circumstances in the world is changing, is moving. There's nothing is permanent. So reflecting the impermanent, or reflecting of the impermanent, thinking that impermanent. And when more you reflecting the impermanent, and also you begin to more thankful, more grateful your situation and the circumstances, life, and every opportunity, every surrounded, what you are surrounded, more happy, more joyful. Those are known as mindfulness practices. When you begin that now mindfulness practices, and then in the Foundational Buddhism school, what they do? The shamatha meditations, shamatha practices. Mindfulness is the igniting of a calm and peaceful qualities, but once you got there, then you begin to the shamatha meditation. Shamatha is a Sanskrit word, at many of you already know that. It means calm and peaceful, abiding calm and peaceful states. In order to begin that, to do then all those shamatha meditation practices, such as breathing, meditating on the breathings, breathing, calm, again, peaceful way, and relaxing, moving your mind with more peaceful way, more calm, and following the breathing, following the breathing. That is known as then the shamatha meditations. Or the simply concentrating your mind with some certain objects, meditation object, relaxing and focus that as long as you can. Relax. And then also see, kind of concentrate on our bodies. Body is all in a shamatha meditation. In the Foundational Buddhism school also tells all that this body is like not just a one solid object. There's so many things in the body. All the different like limbs in a part of the body, so many things. You concentrate on that. All those are come together, joined now so kind of nicely, beautiful, but they are also almost every second, not just almost, every second is really changing, moving. There's nothing is really stays forever. Moving that. So that externally, the universe is moving and changing completely, but even our physical system is changing and moving there. And concentrate on those more relaxed, calm, peaceful ways. Yes, even our breathing is changing. Every movement, breathing is one after another, not just same breath. We breathe every maybe second or whatever. Again, continually breathe. But yet we are perfectly, beautifully enjoying, existing and living. And with again, joy and appreciation, calm and relaxed lives. When you do these practices with that way, what in the teaching said, it will bring more detachment, more calm. It will loosen our grasping, clinging. We begin to see the way the universe and the world are existing, are really existing. That is seeing exactly the way things are. According to teaching, that is Abhidharma. Seeing exactly things as it is, not be covered up there. Covered up there, seeing where things are exactly. You're seeing something that we before never saw, or we would never pay attention. Now we're finding out where things are. And for that reason, then also in the teaching said, be more grateful, more happy, more joy. Well, everything is in our control and our favor. How wonderful, how beautiful. At the same time, the teaching always told, there is some degree of courage and commitment that I will use these beautiful opportunities, this fragile and kind of illusory, this opportunity to bring more good things for myself, for others. Kind of feel that and relaxing, calm with that. Calm. And then in the teaching said also shamatha meditations, such as in the Foundational Buddhist schools. If you have again different emotions, such as the emotions, our negative emotions not letting us to stay a calm and peaceful. And what are those negative emotions? Anger, jealous, ignorance, attachment. Those are troubles. Again, it makes more ourselves unrestful states. When when you see those kind of difficult, those highlight emotions, in the teaching said, for example, when you have more attachment problems, then see all these bodies are changing. All the situation is changing. Why I'm so attached to this? Why I'm not so attached? I just move along as it is. Not attaching means what? How the nature of attachment is like don't like to change. It like to be exactly the same as it is. That is just our only ignorance. This is not Abhidharma. If we think that, that is un-Abhidharma. And we see things are exactly the way things are kind of along with, moving along with that open mind and open heart. That is the Abhidharma. That is truly we seeing things are as it is. So for that reason, when we are so attached, meditating, or recognize, kind of highlight of the things are changing. Not things are changing outside the subject, object is changing, but subject is changing. Our mental state, how much things change since we have the memory until now. It's always, we change, even in our own memories. Our physical is changing. Our situations are changing. Our circumstances surrounded, and all those are really changes. Therefore, kind of bring more open heart, open realization. That is known in the teaching said, meditating on the detachment. When we are so attached, discovering the way things are, be in the way things are that. And then we have a negative emotion, such as negative emotions or anger. In the teaching said, loving kindness and compassion. Even in the Foundational Buddhist school, even they don't highlight the loving kindness and compassion, but in the teaching said, meditating on the love, compassion, bring more love. What is love actually? In the teaching said, love means beautiful. Love means so nice. All these things are existing. Now whereby you can't relate. All this subject is all this, without this all this subject or objects, we won't be happy. Because of existing everyone, others, we are really very happy. It's good for us. These are good learning places. And then in the Mahayana Buddhism, what in the teaching said, as whatever we desire, that they desire too, same way. So why we are so upset and angry with them? And then due to also what they did some mistakes or whatever, it's due to their ignorance. It's not their intention, they're born with that bad, but this is due to ignorance. Their negative emotions are disturbing to their mental status and then doing something. So why should I angry with that? If I ever have to angry, I should angry with ignorance, not to that physical, to that person or to that individuals, to ignorance. In order to do that anger to the ignorance, we cannot defeat ignorance with anger. We have to be more wise, smart way, and meditating on the loving kindness. That will defeat the help to their ignorance. Those are the really in the teaching said. So that is more meditating on the love when we have the anger problems. And when we have more, again, the same way, jealous problems. When we have jealous problems, same way of loving kindness and joy and appreciations. Bring more joy, more appreciation, and more love and kindness, and less grasping, less clinging. Those are the in the teachings. Then when you have more troubles with all the busyness of thought, our mind cannot rest in that. That's the teaching said, meditating on the breathing. Just concentrating on the breathing will help consumption to a kind of calm and peaceful states. So those are known as meditation states of these. And then in the Foundational Buddhist schools, What are the, when you practice Vajrayana Buddhism, when you practice such as Hundo practices, what are the foundation practices? Are known as 4 renunciations and taking refuge. Those are foundation Buddhist schools, teachings. 4 renunciations such as then the precious bodies or precious lives. And such as then, next one is impermanent. Next one is known as the cause and effects are inevitable. And the 4th one is that samsara has difficulty and troubles. Those are known as 4 renunciations. 4 renunciations. And that is the foundation Buddhist school teachings. These teachings are known as in the Buddha's teaching, in Buddha Gita, first teaching calls them 4 noble truth teachings. Suffering truth, cause of suffering truths. This 4 renunciation thought is condensed essence teachings of the first 2 truths, suffering truth and the cause of suffering truths. Then taking refuge, and that is following the path truth, taking refuge. And it's like just we together with the refuge, and then doing all those shamatha meditation and practice as I say, mindfulness, all those are known as path truths. So without this teaching, there is no Mahayana Buddhism and no Vajrayana Buddhism, or 4 renunciations and the refuge practices. So that is really how important of these foundation Buddhist schools are. Is all the Mahayana Buddhism or Sutra Mahayana Buddhism and the Vajrayana Buddhism. Buddhism is completely based upon the foundation Buddhist schools. That's how it is developed. So that is what really about the foundation Buddhist schools. Now we move to the second Buddhism, and that is the Mahayana Buddhism. And now, maybe I will do. If you have some questions about this foundation Buddhist school, yes. If you have, yes, yeah.
Well, we got some microphones coming around.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Khenpo, good morning. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you.
I have to preface this question with a brief little intro here. As a person of Irish descent, I am prepared to be somewhat disappointed by your answer here. Either way. So here's the question I have. The prohibition against intoxication. I don't really see the humor in this. This is very serious. So here's the question though. Is the prohibition against the use of any intoxicant, or is the prohibition against becoming intoxicated?
Being drunk or drinking.
I want you to know that I'm fully prepared to be somewhat disappointed in your answer.
I'm trying to do every my capability to not disappoint you. So in order to do that, since we are the practitioner of all 3 yanas. 3 yanas, we are practitioner of the foundation Buddhism schools, foundation Buddhism. We are practitioner of the Sutra Mahayana. We are practitioner of the Vajrayana Mahayana. So therefore, there is some rooms. According the foundation Buddhism teaching, definitely there is no room to drink at all. If you take the vows, not just, not at all room to drink. In the teaching it said you should not drink or use any intoxicant, even the drop of the grass or tip of grass, dew of grass,
That
Dew-
amount.
dew of grass. That's really in the Foundational Buddhist school teaching said. I will tell a story. And this is a very famous arhata known as Lagong. During the Buddha's time, Lagong was born, the very wealthy family in India. And these wealthy families are looking to have, I'm sure maybe a few of you heard this story, I said it quite a few times, but this wealthy family really looking to have child, but the couple did not have child so long time. They did every method, everything what the spiritual masters and instructions asked to do. They did everything and didn't, the lady didn't conceive it. And they did so kind of unhappy that so all their wealth and everything, who will keep their lineage and wealth and all that things. But finally, lady was conceived. And because then immediately she understood that she is now pregnant or conceived, and that she informed to her husband. And that day, the father, their family has big tragedies. Big things happened. Bad things happened to father, business and all that things. So moment that happened, but during moment those things happening, that moment he heard, oh, now his wife is conceived. So he feels so happy, even though many things happened, that things, but I'm so happy that news, welcome that news. He said, and he so that's what. Then since he's conceived, the family gets one after another tragedies. So now the child was born, and he was boy. So since the father, the moment he heard that news, he said, oh, this is welcome news. So then they think of now, child was born, what they give the names? We will give the name him welcome. So his name was welcome baby. Now welcome baby, moment he was born, again many tragedy things happening in the family. And soon after, the both parents died. Now boy, was the welcome boy, baby was kind of become alone or lonely, who nobody's really looking. And one after another tragedy, and their luxuries, all that can't be disappeared. And so then their close family relatives are kept. They also, moment they kept that, looking after that baby, and again they had so many tragedies, one after another in the teaching said. So soon after the relatives said, oh, this is not welcome baby, this is an unwelcome baby. So they named unwelcome to the baby. So now really the relative also upset, and they really had tried to do one after another, and then they finally kicked it out. We don't want to keep this one. So now he looks like grown up, maybe in about maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, around that. And so now they kicked it out, and he's completely lost it. He don't have any place to go. He's sitting on the road. He's staying on the road, and he just is so happy that. And that time, then Buddha Buddha can't see all that situation, and Buddha changed the route, direction. Usually we go to the city for the food with his student, but that day Buddha changed the route. He said to all the students, we're going to this way route. So he went to a slightly different route. On the road, this boy is staying and crying. And moment he saw the Buddha, kind of feel like calm and peaceful, all those the students feel calm, but he's crying. So why are you crying? All these things asked, because I have no place to go, and relatives kicked out, the parents died, and all those things. So then he said, why you not come with us? And so then, of course, then he joined. So he went with the followed after Buddha and his student, and then he received the nice lunch, the family or the whoever is inviting. I think maybe he's another product. He's a big Dharma pattern invited. So he got the food, and then he like become the novice monk. He started. So gradually, long story that then he received more teaching in the practice. He meditated the practices, meditated, and he really become the arhatas. He become now arhatas. He reached a high realization. So now, even though he become the arhata in big realizations, and no one is kind of respecting him much. Everybody is a little bit kind of ignoring him. That and the Buddha thought this is not right. He such as even though he has all those tragedies, but now he is really arhata. If people do these things, they are making kind of bad marriage or bad karma. So Buddha like to highlight him, and so highlight. And that time in far village, somewhere far from the village, Charasada, there is one village, and they have a lot of trouble all the time with the Nagas in the teachings. The Nagas, they have so many trouble. That area, there's one Naga state, so temperamental, and they're making so much trouble all the time. But this Naga is making trouble. So the villages did so many things. Whatever do, this always not right. He's making so much trouble, this Naga. So then the villagers came to Buddha and asked, please, will you subdue and help to our village to subdue that Naga? So Buddha said yes, but same time, Buddha kind of looking among all the Sangha members, he looked to this not welcome, that Arhata. He looked to him kind of strongly. Immediately, Lugong, that one who is, he also looked to the Buddha. He nodded. He see the what Buddha want him. So what one want him. And in the teachings, Vinaya is like in the Buddha teaching. Vinaya is like more kind of democratic. If you like to accept that invitation, then they will bring kind of stake. They call the stake of the morality. Stake of the morality. If anybody like to do that to kind of activate and perform that, they pick up the stone. I'm sorry, not stick. They will pick up the stakes. So Lung in the teaching said he's extended his arms as like elephant trunk and picked up one stake, that stake, among the group of stakes. Everybody thought, wow, why he's doing? He don't know what he's doing now. Now he's just picking up that. And he picked it up. Then of course Buddha did not say anything. When he picked up, Buddha said, welcome, and that's it. So next day, now he accepted he's going to take care of that Naga. So now the Lagoon went to the city and had the food. He bagged the food in a begging bowl, alms bowl. Then he went that villages, and he particularly the villages said, you said there's a one spring.
Yeah, spring.
Well, and that is a Naga places that he stays there. That Naga place. So we went there, that area, and he sat down so peacefully, quietly. That happened. When Naga saw that, in the teaching said, the Naga saw that. The Naga thought, oh, this is really kind of like strange, wandering monks. He don't know how powerful I am. He thought, but he is ignorant, so he's going to leave that just alone. So he sit there, nearby there, and he eat the food, begging bowl. He get up nicely, gently, and went to that spring, and then he washed his bowl in that spring. And Naga was really upset. According to tradition in India, And particularly in the teachings, the Naga don't like any leftover remains. They're really not happy. So he watched that his arms bowl, and what what's called this the dirty water or whatever the arm, he poured back to that spring water. And that moment, Naga was so angry, and he jumped up in the sky. He met big thunderstorms. And he put the thunderbolt to the lagoon. And lagoon went back to the spot where he stayed, and he meditated on the loving kindness. Loving kindness. That didn't do anything. Or those thunderbolts, nothing affected that Arhata lagoon. And now, kind of like Naga that is desperate what to do. And that moment, lagoon emanated a big fire rain, and that completely like kind of blocked the Naga, and he couldn't go anywhere, Naga. And finally, he came to Naga came, or Naga to the lagoon, and said, "Why are you making me trouble those? What reason I did? What I did?" He said. And Leon said, "Because you didn't do anything to me, but you're disturbing all these villages, because that's what I'm going to make gentle and peaceful." So then he said, "Yes, I will listen. What do you want to do?" Yes, he said, "No, you don't have to do anything to me, and you must take that commitment to be my teacher, which means Buddha." So then in the teaching said that Naga becomes small snake, and Leon put in his begging bowl that snake. He went to the Sharasta, Jetava grove, with that Naga in the begging bowl, and in front of the Buddha. And then Naga take the vow that he's not going to disturb to the villages. So that's happened. And now the lagoon that not welcome become back to his normal name, lagoon welcome, and it becomes so kind of quite famous. Wow, he got that such a realization. He's the greatest. He subdued the Naga, and this really become big kind of honored ones. He become honored ones. And then one day, this honored one went to the kind of separately to him. Places because of the food. I mean, the midday they take only one time food. So he went in the different villages, and where his old friends, the family friends, he was there. And so he went there, and there also this old friend who's his family's friend, old friend, very happy. Now this alone is become so special, highly realized beings, and he subdued the Naga in that villages, and he's so happy. So then he kind of feel happy, and then he offered him the lunch, and he had lunch. And that time Buddha did not make any rules about the alcohol or the intoxicating things. And so then this family friend offered him the alcohol drinks. So then he drank the alcohols. Now he drank and drank. He felt really intoxicated. He really felt intoxicated. So now after he finished his food and all that things, then now Leon is walking back to the ashram or to the hermitage where he's going to stay with Sharvasata. On the road while he's walking, he couldn't walk, he fell down. He fell down with that, and he fell asleep. He fell asleep there. What? He fell asleep. He fell asleep there. At that time, again, Buddha is walking to the city and coming, and Buddha changed the route, and he announced that we're going to go this way. So Buddha is walking with his Sangha members, and every Sangha member saw one of their students, the wearing the robes, and who was fell down on the street and fall asleep, sleeping. And when they came to closely, it was a lagoon. He was a lagoon. And the Buddha said, "Who is he? Is this our lagoon?" And then Buddha said, you think so now he can subdue the Naga? Naga he can subdue. And then every student said, no, I don't, he can subdue, don't mention the Naga, but even he can't do anything with the small insects or small things. And why is that happening? Because of the toxicating. That's it, that's what happened. So put that on, then Buddha give the rules, they're not really toxicated. Even the tip of the blade of the grass or dew of grass that should not drink, should not toxicate. So that is the rule in the Vinaya or in the Foundational Buddhist schools. That. And then Mahayana schools, that app is important, and as a necessity, you can have a little bit, but not lost your mindfulness. Why Buddha give this teaching in the Vinaya or the Theravada Foundational Buddhist school? Because the toxicating things will lose the mindfulness. I mean, even this great arhata that lost the mindfulness, completely fell down. So it really will lead numerous obstacles and hindrance in the life and the practices. So that's what that. So in Mahayana, in the teaching said, then after as long as you're not lost with the mindfulness, then you can have a little bit. In the Vajrayana Buddhism, it's the same thing. As Mahayana, you can have a little bit, but again, not lost the control. And then good practitioner of the Mahayana or the Vajrayana Buddhism, there's many stories of the great yogis or the yoginis. They really consume the big quantity of the alcohols and all that, and still they are nothing affected their realization and their kind of power of the spiritual qualities, like kind of shining, blazing as a brilliant sun. There's many stories, those in the Vajrayana teaching, but still not do too much until I lost that mindfulness. So that is my answer. Yes.
Yes, building on Bob's question, my assumption is that when it says intoxicants, it means any intoxicants. I mean, I know you spoke about alcohol and the context was alcohol, but I would think that it would apply to any kind of drug, anything whatsoever
really,
that would cloud and obscure your mind, right?
That's really true.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Because it is like what we're talking of the primary goal and principal teaching of the alcohol is really in the teaching said the mindfulness. If you lose the mindfulness, then anything is like kind of should eliminate it. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, there's thank you.
So we're so grateful for your teaching. So grateful to be honored by you. Thank you. Just wanted to ask you, in America we have a great tradition of singing and dancing for many different reasons. Singing in churches and temples and synagogues and for the joy of God. And singing in romantic ways to encourage people to meet partners and to get married and have families. And it's innocent. They can be innocent, then there can be singing that's not so innocent. But if it's innocent and from the heart, is that okay? Dancing and singing that is of that nature, is that okay?
Yeah, this is again in a Foundational Buddhist school. If you take the ordinations, if you take the vows, then really the teaching said should not do. That is the Foundational Buddhist school. Again, same thing. There is many again because Buddha made so many these guidelines because the event has happened during his lifetime, and the Buddha said then no. No, that's what really is all happened. So the Foundational Buddhist school, singing and dancing are then just really kind of restricted there. Then again, as a same answer in Mahayana Buddhism and Vajrayana Buddhism, then definitely you can do those if you have the reason and a big purposes you can do. But again, singing and dancing. So generally, why in the Vajrayana or the Mahayana Buddhism also teaching said you should not do, because if is distracting too much. If distracting too much, your principal goal or the practitioner's principal goal is to re-strengthen, reactivate our inner realization. Our realization of loving kindness, compassion, and understanding of the true nature. And those if we do too many times, then it kind of distracted, and then it will lead larval also numerous kind of troubles and distractions, and then kind of emotions arise with that one after another. So that for those reasons, then and kind of also you should do moderations and with mindfulness. Those are said. But if you have big reasons and then kind of big goals, then of course you can do. In Vajrayana teaching, often also said you can do that with awareness, awareness with the singing and dancing. Then is good, because you're not losing your awareness, your realization, and expressing those your inner realization. And then is good, because not just you, according to Vajrayana teaching, the whole universe is dancing.
Yes.
And singing. Yeah, really. The teaching says the whole thing is dancing. Dancing and singing, and there's nothing is not singing and not dancing. It's all moving so beautifully, perfectly, balancedly. It's just really creating the dynamic display of the universe and beauty. Sun and the moon and star and everything is just shimmering and lightning. Those are the teachings, but with awareness.
So poetic, so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I have a question about this unwelcome kid was born in India.
What?
Was it because of his karma that he went through so much drama
Uh-huh.
in taking birth with this wealthy family?
Yeah, because it is really according to teaching, the Buddha teaching is his karma. His karma and karma of the family, karma of the him. And so it's not something that happened by itself.
But it's a past life karma.
Past life
Couldn't be
karma,
this life,
not
because
this
he
life.
was
Past life
born.
karmas. Yeah, past life karmas.
But he went through a lot of drama.
Yeah, it really went. He went a lot of drama, but also the end. Himself ending was really good. And then according to Buddha's teaching, when he got realization, that was also benefited to his all the connected ones, the family, or parents, and everyone. That really will benefit.
But he wasn't asked to come into the world. He came in because of his parents.
Yeah, that's true. So it's karma. This all the karmas of everyone according to teaching them. But then principally also his karma that he lost the parent, then he didn't have anyone looking after him very nicely, and then relatively looking, but also those all. So is according to teaching is really karma, and in the Buddha teaching often said the karma where things happen is also really kind of very inconceivable. Just you can't answer everything easily. That is, but it is not happening without any cause and conditions.
And by his parents wanting children,
Mm-hmm.
they wanted a kid so
That's
that they
true.
can be happy.
That's
But
true.
that didn't mean that they would have been happy.
Mhm.
It made them miserable, and they went through a lot of drama.
That's true.
They didn't get to enjoy it. So
That's true.
it means that if we want things, sometimes it's not meant for us, and we shouldn't want things because we came with nothing, we go with nothing.
That's true.
So maybe we're better off with
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I see as the only being. That's what it would end up being, because if we have nothing, we come with nothing, we would not have all this drama and karma.
Yeah.
By not wanting children, I have no kids because I felt like if they have to, they come straight from heaven. So I wouldn't want, because I'm not taking the drama of even taking care of kids. So I feel like I'm free. I am free from that. But I always taught that you can either have luck when you have kids or bad luck.
Yeah,
ego
that's
one.
all-
It can
that's
bring
all.
in bad karma or good karma.
Yeah.
Because you bring in a soul and you don't know where the soul is coming from. From
yeah,
bad
yeah.
karma or good karma. So it's a taught. That's a very good taught. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Can we allow this? Oh yeah, I come.
Thank you,
Oh, yeah.
Khenpo, and thank you for the lovely story.
Oh, no,
And I'm very happy that we are part of the Mahayana. And back to Bob's question, I wanted to share with my Irish friends. I'm not Irish, I'm Cuban, but I wanted to share, Khenpo, that there is a group of monks that make beer. And the beer is called Shimei. And they were asked to produce more beer because it's a very fine beer. And the monks said, we do not exist to, we do not, let me get it right. Oh, we do not exist to make beer. We make beer to exist. So I just wanted to put that out, Bob, and I think we may be able to have the middle way, Khenpo, a little bit of beer together. Thank you, Khenpo, thank you. It's called She. Phone number, maybe, or something. I'll buy it for you, Shimei. Thank you, Khenpo.
Pete, back there.
Yes.
Yeah, hi, thanks, and thanks for coming here today.
Oh, thank
I
you.
wonder if you know how enlightening it is when you're up here and speak to us like this. Excuse me. But anyway, I have actually a true life story, something that happened to me just within like the past year that I'm hoping your explanation or answers to can help clear the question about how to develop that state of mind, or how exactly that state of mind should be, so we lose all of that stress and negative emotion. Story goes, a little over a year ago, excuse me, I was brought into a relationship with this person, yes, this woman, and I questioned it from the first time. I mean, I had nothing to do with it. It just kind of came out of the blue, really. I mean, whether technology is a curse to the nation, to the world or not is irrelevant, I guess. And I'm not sure if the fact that she was very sick, this woman, is also irrelevant or not either. But she came on to me, and basically I accused her of having some kind of motive, ulterior motives, for just wanting to be involved with me. And I had my theories, of course, but that's also irrelevant. Anyhow, I just right from the beginning started to accuse her and say, I don't want any part of it. And I accused her of having motives. And of course, it was my ego. You know, I had this instinct. You know, no one's got better instincts than me. Everybody has to probably vouch. Everyone who knows me probably could vouch for that. I mean, according to me, of course, it's my ego. And every day I just kept accusing her, you know, and she's got some kind of motive or whatnot. But anyhow, I know it was a test for me, and I handled it better than I would have like many years ago. And I know that a more advanced practitioner would have handled it a lot better. But my point is, where do we get the state of mind? What state of mind should we have that we just lose all of our ego and just kind of let it happen? I mean, do you follow what I'm saying?
I think so. I think, yeah, then I understand. So, yeah.
Thank her then, if I can
Yeah.
get my point across.
Oh,
Listen
okay.
to your explanation.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
more about how we develop that state of mind, or which comes first,
Mhm.
the wanting to develop the state of mind, the losing of the ego.
And that is generally how to take care of this kind of situation. And most of the time is according to Buddhism point of view, first is always is as much as you can, more open mind. Open mind is really very, very important kind of openness. That means the openness of the not just you or I want this way, I want that way. If you have that thought, you're not so open because you're kind of regulating where things are. So first of all, your openness mind that whatever comes, I'm going to accept that situation then. So that means your mind or your heart is already a little bit more calm and peaceful, more open. With that thought, and then you deal the situation with with courage, with the commitment of your loving kindness and compassion, and deal with that situation, again with the understanding of that person. For example, other person is a person too. They have also desire, they have emotion, they have thought. So trying to kind of like cooperate it with which suits you both nicely and comfortably, and maybe accepting some degree you will accept that other person's also way thinking and way desire that, and also other one do the same way, and then kind of mutual understanding, mutual agreement, more calm and peaceful way, but bring both sides more loving kindness and compassion, same time with open heart and open mind. I think that's what really most of the time in the teaching mentioned that.
I understand that, and thank you. But also, that also seemed to me from what you said that it takes into play the fact that we aren't perfect and we can't be perfect. I don't know how much in our heart would be perfect and would be able to be completely open. Like I said, I did my best for the whole situation, and I knew it was going to be the hardest test I probably ever faced.
Again.
So he said that all how to do it perfectly, but for regular practitioners, it's a little more calm.
But then if you can handle that way, even though it's difficult and hard, I mean, as you said that, if you're able to do it and you did that, you should feel happy and joy. You did good. That means you're really in kind of like, you encourage and you revealed your courage and your love and compassion, wisdom to deal with this situation. And somebody, of course, also really is a help to the other partners and help and support in that way, which you should feel happy and joyful at the same time, keep that kind of open heart and open mind and with wisdom and compassion, then help and support and reactivate it, which is good for you and good for the other partner, and is also according to Buddhism, that is practicing. You're doing good things, that is a practice. You know, we're not going to do immediately right things and everything, every way good in things, but if we improve, we're doing good, that means you're advancing, you're deepening, and which is as you're revealing your goodness quality from your nature of the mind, then that is according to Buddhism, you're practicing, you're good.
Thank you. That was basically what I was looking to. I mean, you understood is what I was saying. I mean, I did the best I could. And I guess part of it you agreed is that we can't be 100%. But it was a practice. If it happened again, I would have learned a lot.
But always a sense of a practice, and always trying to activate it a little bit stronger, a little bit deeper, a little bit wider, as much as you can. That is the practice, and that is the learning, and that is your advancing. According to Buddha, that's how we go. We develop ourselves, really, or we deepen ourselves. Not just immediately stop, oh, that's too much, this and that. Then we become kind of small mind, and we're closing ourselves, which is not, then really won't progress or won't develop too much.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Yeah, please, yeah.
So, I am humbled and honored to be in your presence. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. Very kind.
Of course, I understand that detaching is the main tenet of Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to ask you how to remain and stay in the place of detachment when somebody you love is suffering terribly, and you have no ability to create change or help them, and you literally have to watch severe suffering. So vis-a-vis, the infinity, that's all on one side of the infinity, and I'm supposed to, because I do meditate very much so, I do practice mindfulness. So to detach and almost observe or bear witness to suffering when you have no input and to remain detached is my problem.
And generally it's true, Buddhism is really always teaching on the detachment. Detachment, a lot of teachings on the detachment. But why in Buddhism talking detachment? Because nature is not attached, nature is not detached. But at the present time, we do more attached for that to reverse that, to loosen up that Buddha's teaching on the detachments. But this detachment is not detachment is talking about not too much emotions. Otherwise, in the Buddhism talks so much or strongly emphasizing of loving kindness, compassion, good things to every living being. That is also, in a way, it is attachment. It is not detachment. You're really explaining, you're promoting, you're highly focused on kindness, compassion, and love, peace, and happiness to every living being. It is like have some degree of the attachment, but it's not negative emotions. This time when you're talking love and compassion, wisdom is open, calm, peaceful, soothing. That when you see these people who are having this kind of trouble or difficult things, when you cannot do anything, what in the Buddha teaching said, you send more love, more compassion, really weak. That is, I'm going to talk this after this. The boundless. I'm sure you heard loving kindness, such a boundless love, boundless compassion, really immensely love and compassion. Seeing this individual, that individual is, and there is not just only that one, there is so many beings in the world. So really wish good things and then do some praise and whatever your beliefs and really blessing and what their power and send to that to that individual. Then yes, you see how much you can develop, but not treat negative emotion, not so, emotionally, not negative, is not negative, but not treat emotion kind of think all this, but just a more calm and peaceful way. Really open your, again, heart and mind and love and compassion and just wishing good things. That individual is going through this, but by this may this completely exhausted all the whatever the cause and condition. Or in other words, in the Buddha teaches the karma, completely finished. May this kind of trouble and difficult never happen to any individual. That finished by my power of the meditation, my power of and intention on love and compassion. Really wishing that send a big healing power of your mental to power of the mind, healing power to that individual, to others. That's what really you can do. And according to teaching, if you do that, it really helping to you, and also somebody is helping to others, that individuals and others.
Thank you for that. And let me just share with you. So for 5 years, I did that. I took the highest road possible. I spoke with peacefulness and openness and kindness and softness, and literally took the highest road possible. As I am the voice of truth, there's very big things that have happened that I have clarification and answers to be able to give. Now the door has shut, communication is off, and so that's how much the truth is being blocked. When you spoke about, lying and pain and negative behavior, so the person is in that environment, kind of bathing in that negativity. I'm on the other side, waiting, but the door has to be opened and it's shut. So for 5 years, I have taken the highest road possible regarding my communication and regarding just love, pure, unconditional love. But now another party is involved, and because it's about the truth, I am blocked. And so that's the now I'm in that zone of detachment. It's so painful, I cannot even tell you.
But now also you should, you did everything.
Everything.
From your side, really
Everything.
You have beautiful principles. So trying to, again, even that happened, you just have to, some degree, accept that situation and don't be kind of like staying on that uncomfortable feeling state. Let that go and bring more your courage, more love.
Being here is part of it,
Yeah.
being in this environment and just staying pure and clean and waiting for a knock on the door,
That's
metaphorically,
That's it, really, that's it. I quote Buddha's teaching, and I heard from other great masters, when these things happen, you cannot control. When you don't have the capability to control, and don't worry, and don't say, trying to less worry, let thinking of that, let it go, relax on the present moment. Just relax in the present moment, generating more love and compassion, and wish good things to everyone, to those individuals. Then they will have some wisdom and more knowledge, so that it's not completely blocked and all that. And wishing those things really in the teaching set.
See, communication's been blocked.
Sorry.
So it's purposely. So it's like screaming on the mountain and no one's there.
Yeah.
It's really treacherous.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But thank you.
Yeah. Okay. One more, then we start. Maybe you like to go to have some holidays and then.
Khenpo, thank you so much for coming today.
Oh, thank you.
We're very glad I'm here. I'm right here.
Oh, yeah.
Khenpo, several years ago I read what you were teaching us about, that the Buddha said no singing and dancing, okay? Well,
She read before the Buddha said no singing and dancing. She said before.
And, at that moment, I became very disheartened because I'm a singer. And I thought, oh my gosh, how can I ever become a Buddhist at that time? And then I thought, well, don't worry about that. Let's just put that aside for now. Let's just study and do what we're doing. So then I bought a book about old Tibetan tales, all right, old Tibetan stories. And every other story was about a singing monastic, okay? Every other story, and I got a little confused. I'm like, well, the monk is singing, and they're like, but I'm confused because the monk is, and he's like in bliss, and he's singing, and he's, in that beautiful place, and I'm thinking, but the Buddha said, no singing and dancing. So now I'm getting a little confused, and I'm thinking, well, there must be an exception to this rule. And then, of course, you had said the Mahayana singing is okay in the right situation, when we don't lose our mindfulness. So if I am meditating and I feel like singing in my meditation, that's okay?
Yeah, this is okay. That's okay. Meditation, and particularly, for example, in the Vajrayana teaching, when you visualize yourself as a Buddha and a deity, and then when you are singing or the chanting those prayers with beautiful tune in yourself, then that's really fine. That's good. Actually good in Vajrayana teaching said singing and dancing. That's what you heard Lama dancing. Lama dancing and Lama singing those in the teachings. Because of that time, according to the teaching, those when you dance and when you singing, and that time you are in a state of that divine mandala or the Buddha mandala and the Vajrayana mandala. Then they are all in the when everyone is in a different gestures, different mood, and the different colors, and the different Vajrayana teaching really highly appreciated. But again, same thing in the teaching, Vajrayana teaching, same thing, don't lose the awareness, or that means don't lose the mindfulness of the meditation, what you are meditating. With that, then you are really making big meritory activity, singing and dancing.
Oh, thank you so much, Khenpo. I'm so relieved.
Yeah.
So happy. Thank you. Me and you, right? Me and you.
Yes, okay.
Just this very quick. So singing out of devotion, out of bhakti, out of singing, out of devotion, keeping your mindfulness and awareness, that's good.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you.
Particularly when you do those singing and dancing, let's say you do, I guess if every group is doing, then of course you can do. Otherwise, you do that yourself alone when you're practicing and chanting and singing and with beautiful tone, you do that. But if you're doing group sangha practice together, then do the rest, follow the sangha harmony and the sangha tune in the same way. So it is not just again, it's not become the like distractions to the others. See, even is maybe not it's not distracting your awareness, your mindfulness, but it will could affect. So therefore, keep the same way in the when your group practices. That is important.
We're talking about the ordained and also talking about the pasca, but also for those who have not taken vows and are just simply practitioners, then they have the openness to participate in festivities.
Oh yeah, but then there's generally again, there's Lama Loring is saying that what I'm saying is not drinking or not having the intoxicating. Those are the vows when you take the upasaka vows. Upasaka vows. And so then upasaka is a Sanskrit word which means lay practitioner, if it's simple and translated. Then you don't do that. If you did not take that vows, then is you're free. But still, as a being practicing, the Sangha members in the teaching always said that should not lose the mindfulness. And what in the teaching said, if you intoxicate yourself, it will lead numerous problems. Numerous problems. If you really intoxicating yourself, that we see is not just only in the Buddhism. In the world, we see how much troubles are happening. Even you're highly educated, even you're so rich, wealth and famous. If you do those things, really, then it becomes the habit, and then it loses the kind of happiness and the joy. Then kind of like even enjoyment of the one's own self, but not just to mention the practice, enjoyment of the peace, of the harmony of the family member, kind of also we're demolishing that. So that's what in the teaching is. Lead numerous troubles.
Yeah. So Buddha back in the day didn't have internet and all these technologies, and so the technologies today are really helpful. It spreads even for our own group. It spreads the Dharma. We have videos and YouTube which spread the teachings, and that's an example. And we use a Twitter and so on, but. However, that's the same thing as dancing and drinking when it's used to when people become mindless from it. There's people like they become addicted to social media, and you can be sitting around the kitchen table, and people are all texting different people or looking at the news or whatever, and that's a lack of mindfulness to me. So when we talk about intoxication, I think of all of that. You have to step back and say, what is it that I'm doing right now? Is it taking me away from the present moment and from the love and compassion? Because technologies can do that to us. And
that's true, Joe. Really true. Therefore, I think again, technology is so good, as you said, is all many levels is really good. But in some other levels also is really very disturbances. It's intoxicated. So it's like this is what in the Buddha teaching said, like poured by the speech. One is gossip. So I thought gossip is not just only verbal gossip, is also gossips of the eye visual, and then the smell, the taste, all those are really gossip. So I'm thinking also watching so many times on the television or the movie or the YouTube is really like gossip. It distracted completely that, and so therefore bottom line is what I think really is good to mindfulness, the balance. Mindfulness, not too much. A little bit is good, but too much is what they call here. Too much is too much. Then it's really become like just distracted everything. And even the family closeness, again, I heard that is really this modern technology, watching the movie, watching the telephone and watching is just a kind of that bond of the family member and the loved ones is also kind of like splitting why these things, and just say everyone is kind of like completely hooked in to that phone or that computer or that television, and then the rest is completely kind of ignored. And there's so many other things happening and beautiful things. So therefore, as you said, it's true. Really, I think it's just like moderation and balance and mindfulness is always important. Okay, yeah, okay.
Your answer just now really feeds into the question I have. If detachment is really not a struggle for you when it comes to family members, loved ones, possessions, material objects, if for you it's easy to walk away and let go, it, for me, it kind of feels like a good thing, but there seems to be a lot of judgment surrounding it, as if that makes you a cold, uncaring person, when it's completely the opposite of what you really are trying to express. The intention is loving compassion, but it's like if you're not overly emotional, then they think you don't care.
So then maybe you have to act as emotional. As we talk, I mean, the Buddha teaches everything is a magic. Everything is magic, so you should perform the magic of acting of the emotion, but not emotion. If you can do that, really is good. That's really good. That's it. Even you can do that. That's really good. That's it. So not just nothing. Excellent. And not, I mean, you're not completely kind of the emotion kind of push you down with that emotion, but you're self-strong and kind and compassion, because when you're acting that like emotion, that is activated by compassion. Compassion is just kind of mingle with them, and then help as much as you can. Help with that, and without too much grasping, clinging, as you said, is not too bad, but then wonderful, I think. Okay, thank you. We stop here short time, and then we come back. What? We'll come back. Little break. For 5-minute break, if you like to. Then we go over. We're going to go over a little bit the Mahayana and the Vajrayana. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 5 minutes. 5-10 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.